good, y'all? I want to react real quick to Eddie Hearn's comments and his opinion about Gervonta Tank Davis. I listened to it, processed it unbiasedly, just tried to determine what was some triggering things that he said that would tick off Tank Davis, and I wanted to determine whether or not he said anything that was like racist or disrespectful to Tank. Now, when I first heard about Eddie Hearn making these comments about Tank Davis, I'm like, yeah, of course, typical, this clown. And then when I listened to it and listened to the point he was trying to make, I didn't really sense that he was being racist or like he was being disrespectful towards Tank. I mean, he repeated a couple of times like, this is not being disrespectful to Tank, but he was just saying that nobody can really get into his head. He's a tough guy. He's not a person that will just articulate how he feels. He kind of just a person that's quiet, and he'll just be a badass in the ring. I do understand why people would be triggered and feel like he's insensitive or he's just looking at Tank as just a ignorant black guy. Now he might very well feel that way still, but I didn't sense that when I listened to the interview. I didn't really sense that. I didn't sense that he was being racist. I didn't sense that he was being malicious. I didn't sense that he was being a hater. Nor did I sense that he was being disrespectful to Tank. I thought he was actually complimenting Tank, saying he's a bad motherfucker, and just like how Tyson was, which, I mean, he did give a good example. I mean, Tyson wasn't the most intellectual guy coming up as a professional fighter, even though he used a lot of big words at times, and he used to be a head scratcher, like, what in the hell is he talking about? But I think Tyson was a little more articulate than Tank was. He had no problem interviewing and speaking his mind and going in detail about how he feels about an upcoming fighter or just his training, what his build up to his fights. Tank don't do a whole lot of talking at all. One time he's really doing talking is when they ask him questions at the press conferences, and then post game or post fight. But I think everybody in the boxing community, especially that's black or who are ones that are fighters for protecting the rights and fighting against the racism in boxing, I think y'all are jumping the gun a little bit on this one right here. I think you guys are just so quick to just jump on the narrative that Eddie Hearn was being racist, that did y'all really closely listen to what he was talking about? Because regardless of how we may feel about Eddie Hearn, in this particular situation, based on the subject and what he was talking about in regards to Tank Davis, I didn't see nor sense that he was being racist nor disrespectful. He was just trying to break down his opinion of the type of fighter that Tank is. All the other business that Eddie Hearn has with Tank or whatever, all the other feelings and issues he has with him, that's a different story. I'm not in no shape or form taking up for Eddie Hearn. I can care less about the dude. I didn't really care much about him when he first came on the scene with DAZN. I was like, what is this? They were trying to sign people to these deals. I almost felt like it was just the new modern day slavery with boxing, and then trying to just put them on the plantation and all this other stuff. That was in my mindset. But I'm still a realist. And based on what I listened to and listen to Eddie Hearn describe his thoughts about Tank Davis, I didn't sense that he was being disrespectful nor racist. So I think we gotta be careful not to always try to make everybody out to be a racist in the boxing. We got some of our own people discriminating against each other and treating each other like slaves these days. Al Haymon what he's doing with his PBC fighters. Look what the heck has been going on with Errol Spence and in the Terrence Crawford, Bud Crawford situation. And all Errol Spence's fans has been really making 1,000 excuses for all this nonsense that's going on with Errol Spence and the PBC camp and how they was treating Terrence Bud Crawford. But had they done the same thing, had it been flipped around and had Bud Crawford been the A side and was lowballing Errol and trying to make Errol settle for the lowest of the lowest, I don't think the Errol Spence fans would be like, well, shit, nigga, Errol, just take the shit, dog. Just settle for it, man. Just take the crumbs, dog. You know, even if you don't want no transfer, if you don't want to show you the books, you don't want to show you the books, man. Fuck it. I don't think they would do that. I just think they're being biased and showing favoritism towards their favorite fighter because they're fanboys and they don't care how Bud Crawford is being treated in this situation. As long as Errol Spence gets the upper hand. That's pretty much what I see out of these Errol sexuals. So Errol Spence fans and the PBC, they don't want to be fair. They're not about being fair towards other black fighters. They are all about greed. They want as much money as they can get as possible, and they want to control the narrative, and they want to dictate to people and dictate to other fighters what they want. And if they don't, and if these fighters don't agree to everything that they want, all these stipulations that they want put on the other fighters, then they'll move on and they say, okay, well we'll go elsewhere. We'll do something else, which is not fair. So it's a lot of hypocrites. But don't stop trying to attack Eddie Hearn and saying he's racist off what he said about Tank. That wasn't racist. He was just being 100, and that's his opinion. You got to respect his opinion, man. We got to clean up our own community because this is some bullshit what we doing to Terrence Bud Crawford.